If you're already using AI and looking for one of the best ways to systematically improve your outputs, this video is for you. I'm going to teach you the sequence that I've designed as a step-by-step process so that you can achieve the most consistent and high-quality outputs in as little as 5 prompts. We're not going to create a long, well-engineered single prompt and take the first output as ultimate truth anymore. We're instead going to take that output and get AI to act as its own editor, to check and improve the responses until we've achieved the optimized professional grade result. The real breakthrough in leveraging AI comes when you stop thinking in terms of single prompts and single outputs and start thinking in terms of sequences. This is also a great way to start using AI less as a generator and more as a cognitive partner rather than a replacement. It's time to move from being stuck even after using 10 to 15 attempts to refine, when you should be reaching professional grade results in 5 to 6 strategic steps. So let's talk about why this matters for you. The A.P.E.X prompt sequence is like developing a photograph in the old darkroom days. You start with the exposed film, which is your initial idea, then develop it through a series of chemical baths, each one revealing more detail and clarity until you have a sharp, professional quality image. You're not starting over with each prompt. You're saying, here's your output. Now make it better by addressing these specific outputs of that result. So by the end, you have output that's been systematically refined through multiple lenses of analysis. Now don't worry, I'm going to give you exactly what those lenses can be. Advanced users separate themselves by using sequences like this that deliberately guide AI through refinement, addressing generation, critique, refinement, validation, and verification instead of random iterations. Each step builds on the previous output with a guided evolution. Step 1 generates the initial approach. Step 2 improves by identifying flaws and opportunities. Step 3 transforms it into implementation-ready format. Step 4 stress tests against real conditions. And Step 5 gets independent validation. The discipline of working through each step clarifies your own thinking and helps you articulate exactly what you need, which is a skill that improves every AI interaction you'll ever have. So let's go deeper into what these 5 steps are. I say 5, and that's if you come into it with your prompt already super clear for your first output. If your prompt isn't super clear, you can start with what we call a step 0, which is an optional clarity prompt. This prompt will allow you to generate the components for your foundational prompt when projects have multiple moving parts. You can ask AI to help you define specific objectives, relevant context, working assumptions to validate, and success criteria you may have already overlooked. Once you have all of that, then that output becomes your input for step 1. So step 1 is your foundation prompt. It's where you get to architect AI's approach by using a 6-part prompt structure. You want to have your intent statement, which is the specific outcome that you're looking to achieve. Your role assignment, who should AI be in this particular instance? Your audience context, who consumes this content that you're generating? Your output format, how do you want it to be structured, in a table or a list? Any constraints, like things that you must include, boundaries, requirements, things like that, and strategic framing, which is tone or perspective. Let me give you an example of how I might state a foundation prompt. My intent statement might be, I want you to help me create a social media plan for October of 2025. Be my social media marketing manager or my strategic marketing organizer. That's the role assignment. The audience context is, who is my ICA? Who is my ideal customer avatar, the ideal customer profile? What is the output that I want? Do I want it in a calendar? Do I want it in a table? Do I want it in a list? Constraints and must-haves, I want to make sure I include video as well as audio, as well as articles and blog posts. And then strategic framing, I want it to have my brand voice. So that is what I would include in my foundation prompt. Step 2 is the optimization prompt. This is where we take that output from the first prompt and ask AI to critically analyze and improve its previous output. So this might read, review what you just created and identify gaps, inaccuracies, missing considerations, potential bias, alternative approaches, and assumptions that might not hold true, as well as ways to strengthen weak elements. I would also use the optimization prompt to make sure that the result is comprehensive, to look for any types of additional gaps or blind spots that weren't already covered. Step 3 is the refinement prompt, which is transforming the enhanced output into its final form. So this prompt might read, take your improved analysis and turn it into something I can implement successfully. Focus on format for audience, adding clarity and persuasion, ensuring implementation readiness, polishing the tone, or removing ambiguity. Step 4 is the validation prompt, and this one's technically optional, but I highly recommend it. And this is where you stress test the final output against real-world conditions. Your prompt could read, put this through real-world scenarios from different perspectives, simulate stakeholder reactions, test comprehension and usability, identify implementation obstacles, and run any worst-case scenarios. I love the validation prompt because it helps me mitigate my own bias when I look at an output. It allows me to see things from other people's perspectives, which is one of the great values that AI brings to us. Step 5 is triangulation. Again, this one's optional, but it really is one of my power user secrets. And this is where you get a second AI to give an independent review. So you copy the final output from your first AI and put it into a different platform. So if you use ChatGPT for your A.P.E.X sequence, take out the final output and put it into Claude and ask it to evaluate and recommend improvements. Ask that second one to compare insights and integrate strongest elements. I also love taking an output and putting it into Perplexity to help confirm or question any information that might be in there, or to research any claims and include the citations. So here's how to start implementing the A.P.E.X prompt sequence now. Pick one important task or one important thing that you're working on this week, whether it's a professional email communication or a strategic plan or any creative work where quality really matters, and commit to using the full A.P.E.X sequence instead of just hoping for first draft magic and continually doing refinement, refinement, refinement. Start with step 1 and write your foundation prompt using all 6 parts. Don't skip anyone. Use strategic framing because all of the elements in there eliminate ambiguity and maximize your relevance. Move on to step 2. You copy the AI step 1 output and ask it to review itself. Now, don't worry. In the video description, there are all of these steps written down. You can also find them at jonescode.ai. Then move on to step 3. Take the improved step 2 output and ask it to transform it into an actionable version that you can start to use immediately. And then for high stakes work, of course, ask it for steps 4 and step 5. Pressure test your response and check it with another AI. The A.P.E.X prompt sequence works because it gives AI the 4 things it needs to succeed: a clear task, a role to play, a success metric, and the raw material to build something amazing. It's not about tricking the tool, it's about being a strategic creative director of your own ideas. Learn even more great prompting tips with me at jonescode.ai. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Then visit jonescode.ai for even more educational content, online courses, blogs, and videos.